For today's grim adventure, we find ourselves once again in Hollywood, California. Right now I'm sitting in the back of Hollywood Forever Cemetery, a place I like to visit almost daily. But living here for a couple of years now, amongst the museums and filming locations and true crime spots, there's one place that I find more darker than the rest, more spookier, more grim, if you will. It's kind of hidden right off Hollywood Boulevard. It's something we like to call the Hollywood Death Wall.
Who are you? No, I don't remember.
The beautiful child star of such movies as Poltergeist has died. That cute little girl with the long platinum hair was very familiar to movie audiences, but we want to tell you more about little Heather O'Rourke. This 12-year-old was born and raised in our area, and that's also where she has died after suddenly being hospitalized.
Movie lovers, young and old, are mourning the death of actor Vincent Price. He was, of course, the villain with the scary voice that could send chills up and down your spine.
And now the sad and quite unexpected news from California. Everyone knew that Lucille Ball had been ill, and everyone felt immensely relieved when it appeared that Lucy was doing better. Well, today she died suddenly. She was 77.
So what is the Hollywood Death Wall? Basically, inside Ripley's Believe It or Not, they have a wall that is covered with obituaries of famous stars that have died here in Hollywood, and that is what we're going to show you. It's kind of hidden in this like walkway, and you can easily miss it. But that's where we're going. And oh yeah, this is all handheld today.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.
Now before we get to the Hollywood Wall of Death, here's a quick rundown of some of the things you can do here in the heart of Hollywood. First one being you can get a pretty decent view of the Hollywood sign without actually getting up close to the Hollywood sign. Zoom in there a little bit, right about the center of your screen. If you know where to go, you can get some really great shots high above Hollywood Boulevard. For instance, there's Roosevelt Hotel off in the distance, and how fitting the El Capitan, the Disney Theater, is going to be playing Alien Romulus. I love it. Now this is something I've always found fun. If you've ever watched the Oscars, the red carpet, the stairs that the stars walk up to the theater, are these stairs right here. Basically, it's an outdoor theater, and there's stores here. And what they do is they cover the storefronts with drapes. So you never really get to tell. But you can actually walk the red carpet yourself if you want. You can see everybody stops here to get pictures. I'm gonna go ahead and put the camera down here. So it pretty much goes right from parking straight down through. I don't mean to make you dizzy. Right out this way, towards the light, which is Hollywood Boulevard. And straight ahead out this side is the Jimmy Kimmel Theater where he films his show. But we are not here for this. Trust me, at some point I'd love to go to the Oscars, even just attend the ceremony. But being able to stand here and be able to live right down the street from here, it's kind of cool. All right, gotta show you some things on Hollywood Boulevard. You see what I mean? There is just so much to do here, and it's always changing, and it's really hard to kind of pinpoint what is worth it and what is not. After all, there is such a thing called a tourist trap. Now, right next to this building is Ripley's, and inside there, like I said, is where you'll find the wall, the Hollywood Wall of Death. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. This isn't the first time we've done a video on Ripley's Believe It or Not. In fact, if you go back far enough, you'll actually find a full video that we did here in Hollywood at this one, when we actually came out here to visit before we moved here. So we're not going to be doing a big video showcasing everything that's inside this museum. Instead, we're just here for the Hollywood Death Wall. And that, my friends, is right off the main room. Now it's going to be very loud, so we're probably going to switch to voiceovers. But there's this staircase that goes downstairs. And right here is some of the obituaries, actual obituaries. You can hear the musical staircase right now as people walk up and down the staircase that plays music. That mixed with music piping into the room, yeah, we're going to do a voiceover. So you can see it all around me. I'm going to showcase some of them. This is only a small part of the collection, but they are actual obituaries. Now the first obituary we see is for Ray Bolger, who famously played the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz.
You hurt yourself.
But I didn't scare you?
No, of course not.
I didn't think so.
Bolger, seen here with Judy Garland, who played Dorothy, was the last surviving star of Wizard of Oz. He died in a Los Angeles nursing home after a 2-year battle with cancer. Ray Bolger, dead tonight at the age of 83.
Oh, I'm a baby.
Died of cancer yesterday at the age of 83. He was the last survivor of the Wizard of Oz cast, which also starred Judy Garland, Burt Lahr, and Jack
If I only had a heart, if I only had a brain, if I only had courage. And so that gives us this basic philosophy, that everyone was born with a heart, with a brain, with courage. And those are the simple things in life that if we use them properly, you'll reach the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Vincent Price is even here. And really, does he need any introduction? I mean, the master of horror himself.
Movie lovers, young and old, are mourning the death of actor Vincent Price. He was, of course, the villain with the scary voice that could send chills up and down your spine. Reporter Lonnie Lardner takes a look at a long career that was filled with horror movies and classics.
Price began his film career in 1938 and became known in his later years as the Prince of Menace. He put his characteristic Price stamp on every role, from the sublime to the ridiculous.
I have a present for you.
In 1990, Price played a bizarre inventor in the Tim Burton film called Edward Scissorhands, another role to which he brought his unique qualities.
And probably the saddest obit on the wall, at least for me, is that of Heather O'Rourke from the Poltergeist series.
Who are you? No, I don't remember.
The beautiful child star of such movies as Poltergeist has died. That cute little girl with the long platinum hair was very familiar to movie audiences, but we want to tell you more about little Heather O'Rourke. This 12-year-old was born and raised in our area, and that's also where she has died after suddenly being hospitalized. More now on Heather's illness, and along with a look at her short but very successful career, from our Chris Saunders.
America first saw a 6-year-old Heather O'Rourke in the Steven Spielberg horror movie Poltergeist. She was the adorable flaxen-haired little girl who uttered the eerie words,
"They're here."
Later, in Poltergeist 2, she said,
"They're back."
Heather, then 12, had just finished shooting Poltergeist 3 in June. But Sunday morning, she woke up sick. Her parents thought she had the flu. Yesterday morning, as she got up to go to the doctor, she collapsed. She was rushed first by ambulance to El Cajon's AMI Hospital in cardiac arrest. Then she was life-flighted to Children's Hospital. Doctors say Heather's intestine had burst from an abnormality she'd apparently had since birth, but no one knew it. She died of a massive infection. This was Heather's room in her lakeside apartment, and it's filled with the things that she loved, her stuffed animals and her personally autographed picture of Sly Stallone. Her parents say it all happened so suddenly that they really don't know what to say other than that Heather was a perfectly happy and well-adjusted little girl who wanted to devote her whole life to acting. The skies seemed to cry along with Heather's classmates at Tierra del Sol Middle School today, where she was in the literary club and didn't want any movie star attention.
And then she left to go make a movie, and when she came back at the beginning of the school year, she was just like a regular student. Nobody even thought of her as Heather O'Rourke, the girl in Poltergeist.
She's sweet. Didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. and she was delicate. You can hurt her feelings real easy.
Heather was just a beautiful, sweet, loving, and delicate little girl. In 1982, at age 6, she told PM Magazine about her favorite things.
I like to bike ride a little. I swim a lot. And, you know, I play with my dogs, and I play with my dollies.
Heather's older sister, Tammy, who's been in movies like Annie and Pennies from Heaven, said today to make sure to tell everyone one thing, that we love Heather, and we're really going to miss her.
They even have the master of suspense himself.
One of the great figures of motion pictures died today, Sir Alfred Hitchcock, who died in bed surrounded by his family at the age of 80. His passing was more serene than that of many of the characters in his 53 films, many of whom were dispatched with ingenious horror. David Burrington has more.
In 50 years of making pictures, he became a legend worldwide as a master of suspense.
302, take one.
Action. Critics rated him with Kafka, Dostoevsky, and Poe. Hitchcock was working on his 54th feature film when he died, here directing his last released picture, Family Plot. In every film, as a running gag, he made a brief appearance.
I do it as early as I can because I'm told, I don't know this, I'm told that an audience looks out for me. But I have another reason. I get in and out as quickly as I can so that I don't have to suffer the indignity of being an actor too long.
In Family Plot, his famous silhouette behind a closed door. And here, in one of his most successful films, The Birds. Often he wasn't so easy to spot. On the lower screen here, part of the crowd, drawn to the discovery of a body. In what's perhaps his most famous film, Psycho, Hitchcock's appearance was easily missed, but few will forget the murder scene.
One picture tells 1,000 words. Tell as much story as you can with a camera, and not with words. Words belong to literature and the theater.
Hitchcock fans will also remember Foreign Correspondent, Spellbound, Strangers on a Train, North by Northwest, and Vertigo. A generation of television viewers watched as he toyed with murder, but Sir Alfred Hitchcock died quietly today, his final exit without drama. David Burrington, NBC News, Los Angeles.
He was sort of a genius at what he did and colorful when he talked about it. There was always one marvelous turn of plot or trick or gimmick in his movies, and he called that the MacGuffin.
Also on the wall is Elizabeth Montgomery's death notice, her obituary. She was Samantha Stevens in Bewitched.
An actor is all Elizabeth Montgomery ever wanted to be, and she succeeded as few in Hollywood ever do. She died today of cancer at age 62 in her Los Angeles home, surrounded by her family.
Once upon a time, there was a typical American girl.
It has been more than 30 years since Elizabeth Montgomery began twitching her nose and making things happen. As Samantha the Witch in the long-running series Bewitched, Elizabeth created one of television's most memorable characters. It was a part she recalled with affection for E.T. several years ago.
I knew that people liked it because we kept doing it. but I mean, it never occurred to me that it was going to be as enormous a hit as it is.
You're a witch!
She could use the present tense because even today, Bewitched is a hit on Nickelodeon.
It was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience, and it also allowed me the luxury of being able to sit back and say, okay, now I'm going to wait, and I hope that I have a career.
My ballpark.
Elizabeth Montgomery didn't have to hope very much.
You play by my rules or you're out of the game.
She played opposite Kirk Douglas in Amos in The Awakening Land. She took the role of a pioneer.
Jenny, you and Axa take Sully up to the loft.
Elizabeth Montgomery's acting career had extended almost the entire life of television itself. One of her early roles was on the legendary Twilight Zone. It was a part opposite Charles Bronson where she spoke just one word.
Procrastinate.
But after Bewitched, there were TV movies like A Case of Rape, The Legend of Lizzie Borden, Mrs. Sundance, and The Victim. She had no real explanation for her enduring popularity with television audiences.
I guess they get familiar with you, but then again, I'm as I said, you know, I kind of like to throw them curves every once in a while. But I think they like that.
So in recent years, there were films like Byline, Edna Buchanan, Sins of the Mother, and With Murder in Mind, co-starring her longtime companion, actor Robert Foxworth.
Why do you stay with me?
But even with her huge body of work, Elizabeth Montgomery will always be remembered as Samantha.
And how about Charlie's Angels? They even have the obituary for Farrah Fawcett here on the wall.
Farrah Fawcett died today after a long battle with cancer. She was 62. The 1970s Charlie's Angels star was famous for her feathered blonde hair and dazzling smile. Ryan O'Neal, Fawcett's longtime boyfriend, was at her side. The couple had one son together, 24-year-old Redmond O'Neal. Fawcett was diagnosed with cancer in 2006. Her struggle with painful treatments was recorded in the recent television documentary, Farrah's Story.
And of course, I Love Lucy. And right next to hers, I don't think I got a video of it, is her husband, Desi.
And now the sad and quite unexpected news from California. Everyone knew that Lucille Ball had been ill, and everyone felt immensely relieved when it appeared that Lucy was doing better. Well, today she died suddenly. She was 77. Here's ABC's Ken Kashiwahara.
At Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, Lucille Ball's death this morning was sudden and completely unexpected. Since her heart surgery a week ago, the hospital had been flooded with letters and get-well cards. And indeed, she appeared to be recovering, talking, sitting up, even walking. But today, a hospital spokesman said a part of her cardiac system not involved in the surgery ruptured.
There was no reason to suspect that anything was about to occur.
As word of Lucille Ball's death spread throughout Hollywood, fans gathered at her house.
We thought we'd take a ride by her house, just sort of a tribute to her. We will miss her a lot, and she's a legend, and there'll never be another Lucille Ball.
Along Hollywood's boulevards, foreign tourists remembered growing up with Lucy and her late husband, Desi Arnaz.
Actually, I learned to speak English with Lucille Ball.
Lucille Ball's last public appearance was at the Academy Awards a month ago, where she appeared with Bob Hope.
You know, we made 4 pictures together. Yeah, talk about dangerous liaisons.
She was a friend. We loved her dearly, and she's truly going to be missed.
As a clown, she was unsurpassed. It's difficult to even think of any men who do that kind of humor who one would say were better than Lucy.
I love Lucy. Everybody loved Lucy. The whole world is... She's gone, but she's still here.
But perhaps the most spontaneous tribute came from a man who stopped his car on Hollywood Boulevard simply to touch Lucille Ball's star. Ken Kashiwahara, ABC News, Hollywood.
And from one of my favorite movies, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, they even have the obit for Betty Davis.
The highlights and unforgettable moments from Betty Davis's 100 films would be too numerous to list, but her contribution to film history has been immense. Davis's career was long enough to confer on her the title Living Legend, a description she grew to accept.
Well, gradually I realized, of course it's a compliment. And isn't it fortunate to reach this position while I'm still alive and know it? Let's just think of Beethoven, never knew we still are playing his music today.
Starting with a single line in a Broadway play in 1927, Davis's career rose swiftly in the early days of the talkies.
Price, let me go. Take me out of here.
She earned 2 Best Actress Oscars in the 30s and in the process gave the famed statuette its name. Her films, mostly for Warner Brothers, made her popular with moviegoers, but within the movie industry, she gained a reputation for being difficult. In later years, Davis said the reputation was deserved.
Oh, I'm very difficult if somebody is incompetent. I mean, if a director does not know what he's doing, of course I'm difficult. Because once more, I'm saying to myself, it's my name that will get praise or blame.
Davis made a number of comebacks in her tempestuous career, the first in 1950 with the highly praised All About Eve.
Autograph fiends, they're not people.
Those little beasts that run around in packs like coyotes.
They're your fans, your audience.
They're nobody's fans. They're juvenile delinquents. They're mental defective. They're nobody's audience.
But by the end of that decade, she was reduced to advertising her availability in Hollywood trade papers. Another comeback came in the early 60s with Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Davis was married 4 times. None was of long duration.
Granted, it would have been nice if one had lasted, but one cannot have everything, and I've had most of it.
Davis ceased speaking to or about her eldest daughter, B.D. Hyman, after she wrote a revealing biography, My Mother's Keeper, in 1985. In her late 70s, the actress continued to accept roles, one of the last being the critically acclaimed drama, The Whales of August, opposite Lillian Gish.
We're too old to be considering new things.
One of her directors suggested Betty Davis's epitaph should read, She Did It the Hard Way. Davis agreed.
I prefer it the hard way. If it's too easy, what is the accomplishment?
Betty Davis was 81.
And wouldn't you know it, they even have the death notice for the sultry vamp, Mae West.
And finally tonight, Mae West, Hollywood's most enduring sex symbol, died today. Ms. West, who made countless movies during her long career, died at her home. She was 88 years old. Jim Brown gives us a glimpse of the magic Mae wove.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, great star of all time, Miss Mae West.
This was one of the last major appearances for Mae West in April of 1979. It was a premiere of the film Hurricane, held at the world-famous Chinese Theater in Hollywood.
Well, it's great to see you here at a Hollywood premiere. Of course, this may bring back a memory or two to you being here at the Chinese Theater.
Yes, wonderful.
You remember one or two of your films playing here, Mae?
Oh, yes, I'm no angel. She done them all, and all of them.
I've lost since Miss Susan Johnson. She lost my Jockey Lee. There's been much excitement and more to be. You can hear her moaning from early morn. I wonder where my easy finder's gone. Oh, I wonder where my easy finder's gone.
When Mae West exploded on the movie screens in the early 1930s, she quickly and deliberately became synonymous with sinful sex. Tame, if you judge by today's X-rated standards, but back then, her double-meaning one-liners shocked movie audiences.
Goodness, what beautiful diamond. Goodness had nothing to do with it, dearie. Let's come up sometime, huh? You know, Miss Tara, I've been under the impression that you is a one-man woman. I am, one man at a time. Why did you admit knowing so many men in your life? Well, it's not the men in your life that counts, it's the life in your men.
You were wonderful tonight.
I'm always wonderful at night.
Yes, but tonight you were especially good.
Well, when I'm good, I'm very good. But when I'm bad, I'm better.
May I present my card?
Novelties and notions. What kind of notions you got?
My Little Chickadee, written by both Ms. West and W.C. Fields, was one of the last films she made for nearly 3 decades. The lady who someone once described as looking like she was delivered from a gay 90s time capsule had gone out of style. Then in the 1950s, there she was again, this time on a Las Vegas stage. It was the same classic act with all the double-meaning entendre, a variation of the character she always played. A character that began years and years before with Diamond Lil on a Broadway stage.
And Dom DeLuise, one of Jessica's favorite actors, who's been in so many things. Funny man, funny man, funny man.
The comedian Dom DeLuise died in his sleep last night in a Los Angeles hospital at the age of 75. He spent most of his life making people laugh.
I lost 100 pounds. I saw my feet the other day. If I lose 35 more pounds, I'll be able to see everything else.
You might know him from his cookbooks and videos, or from 80s movies like Smokey and the Bandit and Cannonball Run.
I want to talk to her.
He did those films with his buddy Burt Reynolds, who emailed today, "Dom always made you feel better when he was around, and there will never be another like him. I will miss him very much." A lot of folks will. Dominic DeLuise, born in Brooklyn in 1933, got his start in theater. Before long, variety shows, including a good run on Dean Martin, and then the big screen. He did a series of films with Mel Brooks.
I could have been a contender.
In Spaceballs, he was Pizza the Hut. And all of that before a successful second career as a celebrity chef and author.
I eat healthy. I just eat too much of the healthy thing. You know what I mean? I mean, like sometimes you have a turkey and you shouldn't eat the whole thing.
His constant goal, make people laugh.
I dreamt that I ate a 50-pound marshmallow. I was very, very upset, and when I woke up, my pillow was gone.
Always a smile, as we remember Dom DeLuise, dead today at 75.
And this was quite a sight to see. They even have the obit for Audrey Hepburn, who, if you don't know much about her, you gotta look up her life.
The actress Audrey Hepburn has died at her home in Switzerland. She had been suffering from colon cancer. She was only 63. Ms. Hepburn has left a significant legacy, both on the screen and off. Here's ABC's Morton Dean.
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
I think she's got it. Audrey Hepburn really had it. That voice, that look. A combination of sophistication and innocence. In Funny Face, in Sabrina, in Breakfast at Tiffany's. It was a voice and a look that brought her fame and fortune. And it also brought her an Oscar in her first American film at the age of 24, Roman Holiday. As a child, she was moved from Belgium to Holland to escape the Nazi onslaught. She didn't. She suffered from malnutrition. And that's when she learned to care about children. She was to become a goodwill ambassador for UNICEF, traveling to troubled places around the world, including most recently to Somalia.
If wars must be fought, then at the very least, children should be protected from their worst effects.
And of course, Fay Ray from King Kong. Man, this is really cool to see.
The American film actress Fay Ray has died in New York at the age of 96. She appeared in 100 films, but is best remembered for her role in the film King Kong in 1933, when she played the helpless blonde carried up the Empire State Building by the giant ape. Tim Mabey reports.
Fay Ray will always be remembered as the screaming blonde who struggles with King Kong captivated generations of cinema goers. Born in California, Fay Ray's first big part was in Erich von Stroheim's ill-fated The Wedding March in 1928. After she starred in a succession of early horror classics, the release of King Kong in 1933 made Fay Ray a star overnight. The film's success lay in a combination of technical wizardry and the appeal of what was essentially the Beauty and the Beast story in a new form. Ironically, King Kong effectively spelled the end of Fay Ray's career. She tried to branch out into more ambitious dramatic roles and later turned to television and writing, but the grip of King Kong remained intact.
You can't escape, you know.
Now, it's been a few years since we've done a proper video on a Ripley's property, and after today, I feel like we need to revisit some of them. I mean, they don't change that often, but a few years ago, Ripley Entertainment, they gifted us these executive passes, and basically any Ripley property throughout the world we can get into at any time. All we gotta do is show this card. And very thankful that they did this because it gives something to do. You know what I mean? And to bring something like this, the Hollywood Wall of Death, to you. With that being said, thank you for joining us on another grim adventure. Until next time, happy Halloween.
Wherever I come, bad luck is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. A bad luck's always coming my way.